All right, welcome to Bloom in Full Color, where we live life in high definition. Jennifer, PJ, and Adam on this lovely, brisk Wednesday morning.
It's brisk.
I know this comes out on Tuesday. We do have to batch produce these. So we're talking about one of my favorite things today. I like to make people uncomfortable. That's not actually what we're talking about.
That's not what we're talking about.
That's not what we're talking about. But this also makes people uncomfortable, and it's winter. It is my favorite season. It is covered in snow. It is uncomfortable. Probably 75% of the population hates winter. I absolutely love it. Like, it snowed this
Idaho
week.
girl.
Oh, well, and I'm like core winter kid. Okay, so I grew up in a greenhouse. There was always a warm place to go. Always. I never had a part where I was like, oh, I'm cold. Like, no, I get cold now as I'm getting older. But I love the winter. I love the snow. I love the
So it was opposite
darkness.
of your environment. Opposite of
most
where you
people
usually
would be
at.
going into hibernation. I am not that person. If there's fresh snow, it's like, what mountain am I going to climb or ski? Period. I got to go. I love the winter. I love the culture of the winter. I like the gathering. I like the hot chocolate by the fireplace at the end of the day after you've been skiing or snowmobiling or snowshoeing all day. I love having dinner at 5 p.m. like a senior citizen.
And going to
Hurry,
bed.
Matlock's almost on.
Exactly. I mean, I like all that stuff. I like the warm drinks at the end of the dinner. I like the difference, because I wouldn't drink warm anything any other time of year. Because I am a cold person. I like cold everything. And I'm the person who opens the windows in the winter in my household.
Without your
cold.
house plants, you can do that.
Because I've
You
gotten
can't do
rid of
that
all
in the
of
winter.
that.
I found out the really hard way.
Oh, you killed them all, didn't
I
you?
was in Ketchum too. I was
oh,
like,
no.
I think we burnt something in the oven, so needed
So
to
you're just
ventilate.
ventilating?
Yeah,
Everybody goes to
charred it
bed?
a little bit too much, and then went to bed and woke up, and I've never seen houseplants be looking like this. They were
Like a murder scene.
black and red and
One-
just frozen, and I was just like, oh no.
One of my favorite things to do, and this is if you've watched me or followed me or know me, one of my favorite things to do is December 26th is take all the poinsettias and put them right outside, like in the snowbank,
So they
and
die
watch
immediately?
drink my coffee as I watch it die. That's really fun for me.
So-
I'm a masochist.
So on the
and
smaller
that's,
small time, you're like, I'm torturing some shit that I've grown.
No, I don't grow poinsettias. That's a bad word here. We hate
This is
poinsettias.
true.
So no, I think it's a plant that, is trying to kill the horticulture industry.
Poinsettia, that's
there's a whole political story to that. I'm gonna let that die. But I love winter. I love driving in winter. I love all of it. Like, the snowy roads don't scare me. Icy roads don't scare me. My family members on them in the dark scare me. That I don't love. Ski hills. The smell of ski boots is so gnarly, but it's so nostalgic.
That's
I'm
a
like,
different kind of podcast, Jennifer.
No, it's that's
10
it.
o'clock show.
That's
That's
it.
the
That
10
is a
o'clock
10
show.
o'clock.
It's a
But
late
it's
show.
nostalgic. It's the smell of dirty ski gear.
Smells are very, that's a very
it
trips
triggers
memory.
something.
It's one of the strongest memory triggers you can
Because
do.
I was raised that's what my family did. We skied. We were winter kids because that's the only time of the year
You got
we had
time
plenty
off.
of time.
Right.
We had fall too, but winter was the time. That was the time we did
Break time for us.
Yeah, because people are like, "What are you doing for summer vacation?" I was like, "What's summer?"
Working.
I don't
That's what we're
know
doing.
what that looks
Work.
like. I finally got time off this year, 2 weeks after my kids started school in the fall. And it was and my husband's like, "We didn't do anything this summer with the kids." I'm like, "I know.
Nor will we ever
I
again.
run a greenhouse." Did you forget that part after 9 years of us being in a relationship together? We've never done anything in the summer except the random concert weekend or something. Get used to it. We're going to travel in the fall and winter. Period. End of story. And that's his busy time. So it's really kind of a contradiction in our household. February is a real awesome time, actually, for us to travel. That's kind of a secret sweet spot. The beauty of February is you can go anywhere where there's a beach or snow.
Right.
So,
Pick a direction.
yeah, I intentionally picked my wedding to be between Christmas and New Year's because I could do exactly that. And it didn't compromise anything with anything. Yeah, the travel's more expensive that time of year, but who cares? Like, you're not going to go do something every year. Some years it's going to be holidays, some years it's going to be celebration. And those are one and the same thing. I understand. Not for everybody. But yeah. So I love winter. There's everything. I want to build an igloo. I want to build a snowman. I want to wear my warm, fuzzy pajamas and slippers and
Isn't
be
that
inside.
a Frozen song?
Probably. I just need to put in, let it go.
If somebody starts singing, I'm out. I'm out.
This is not
he
a
has
musical
a granddaughter
podcast.
who probably loves Anna.
Speaking of
and
things that were musicals that never should have been, I just saw Joker, the second one.
I have not.
God.
I've heard nothing but horror.
End of discussion.
Oh, yeah.
We're not even. No.
Yeah, we're not even
Back
going there.
to winter.
So I love as a plant
Getting a little bit of whiplash here. It's
Don't
fine.
watch it.
As a plant person, I enjoy winter because it's the start of the garden.
Yeah.
People don't realize that, right? If you're a garden-centric person, one, it's a nice period of rest. I don't have to rush out every morning to do something. I'm not worried about things dying. So to me, it's like a mental rest because it's to bed, right? But honestly, this is where the garden starts. This is the time of year you start getting all the catalogs. This is the time of year that you should be planning what's going to happen. Like to be fair, in the farmers market days, I'm 2 weeks away from starting to plant starts for the farmers market, right? I would be planting stuff on my washer machine, and seed to get it started so I can plant it in March, that kind of stuff, right? So to me, wintertime is really the start of the gardening. And I like it because it's the start of the gardening with no pressure, right? I don't have to irrigate anything. I don't have to grow anything. I don't have to trim anything. I just get to plan. So I enjoy winter for that little break.
You're blocking my view of PJ. Rude.
Onyx has decided to join us. She also loves winter.
PJ, I was going to ask, are you harvesting parsnips in this time in mid-December?
So 100%, basically you just start waiting for the ground to freeze. So anytime from now until late February, I'm digging it out. And literally it's just anytime you get a chance. You get those
the day is warm enough to thaw the
100%.
ground? Okay.
Like, I'm squishing through the mud going in the house. I'm going to go dig a parsnip today.
Okay.
Right? 100%.
All right, 100%. I was just thinking on the way to work. I'm
so
like,
good.
he's probably harvesting parsnips at this
God,
time.
they're so good, you guys. Idaho grown, but you don't know what you're missing.
They are really good, actually.
Right? I brought them and just pan-fried them in butter.
For him. I will vouch for him.
Yeah.
Delicious. Just stuff you don't see. Like a beautiful little Idaho
treasure.
And
the fun thing about winter, you suddenly have more fridge space because you can just throw stuff out in the snow.
Oh, it is nice to just be able to throw away once living things and not have them stink up your garbage.
That too. I take pots of soup after we've made soup and I'll put it out in the snow instead of putting it in the fridge.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Or the pies outside.
Yeah.
And the beer outside on the porch is acceptable.
100%.
In a certain range.
In a certain range. You kind of got to watch it because you don't want them to explode. But there's just so much more you can do.
I love the smell of wood fires. Oh my God. You walk out of your house and somebody's got a wood fire going. Talk about a wonderful smell.
Well,
that
and
really
like
is.
a good warm furry blanket. Like the things that you wouldn't enjoy any other time of year.
That's true.
Like
the cuddling season. I get that.
I can do the active and hibernation. I can hibernate at night and be very active during the day. And there's something to be said about the darkness and the circadian rhythm. Like I know people that sleep like 10, 12 hours a day in the winter. Good for them. Like that's what your body is supposed to do.
Right.
That is actually what the human species is designed to do, is kind of to follow the cycle of the sun, because you had to be up longer during the summer because you were producing things. You were getting stuff going. And so I love, like, I kind of like driving to work in the dark and driving home in the dark.
I kind of do too. I am a creature of the night though, right?
Yeah.
Solstice baby. Like it's just,
I like this stuff.
I like the ambiguity of what's acceptable sleep range in the winter.
Right.
Because I could do a 14-hour night once in a while.
Yeah, it's fine.
But
and then like
I'm lazy.
a full moon in the winter.
When there's snow.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
One
it's
of
like
my
daylight.
favorite things.
Yeah.
Well, like
Right.
in Christmas in my family, we always spend it up in the Wood River Valley. I've got something in my eyeball. So we're constantly up in the snow, assuming it's a snowy year. And so we always get a dose. Even if Magic Valley doesn't get anything, I've always got that dose of winter.
Yeah.
I don't ever have to worry about it. I've
Go an
always
hour
got
north
it.
and get your
Yeah,
fill
I mean,
of it.
I've also running a snow shovel, and I'm, a snow blower if we're getting some feet, and I'm helping the neighbor, and I'm doing whatever. I'm putting stuff on. I mean, right now I'm like, what yurt could I get on a full moon weekend? Well, everybody else was way more ahead of me, and they're all booked, but we're getting there. And so it's just like winter is that's my season.
God,
I
you
like
know,
it.
we're so spoiled in Magic Valley. Like, I know I have not been here for 80 years, like some of the people around here, but I love that it snows and then goes away. Around down here now. In most years, obviously there's a couple outliers, but I remember telling people, I mean, the golf course I managed here, we were open every day of the year. We would close a couple holes that stayed shady and icy, but 2, 3 inches, 6 inches of snow, 6 days later it's gone and we're kind of back to business.
Yeah.
Man, is that spoily to me. You kind of get the feel of the winter, but you don't have to work for it is kind of the way I think about it.
Yeah.
I really enjoy having lived places that do snow and you spend all winter shoveling. We don't have that issue down here.
That doesn't damage the turf being on them in that cold?
No.
Really?
Once the ground becomes frozen and you're not affecting the crown of the plant, you can do anything you want to.
Okay.
So once you get that good frost, knock yourself out.
Okay.
Yep. We still didn't let them on first thing in the morning when the leaves themselves were frosty, right? Because you can crush or damage frozen leaves.
Yeah.
But once the ground's good and firm, you're not hurting any knock yourself out. We play at Canyon Springs all year long.
More, you know?
Yep.
I'm not a golfer anyway, but
Idaho is just this little banana belt we live in, man. Is kind of an interesting little thing way up north. You know what I mean? Where you just don't realize
we're in a good spot.
Yeah.
And our snow is different than other places. So
just slightly better than everyone else's snow.
It is actually because it doesn't have as much moisture content.
That's white.
So no, like
that's
okay,
white
so
privilege right
Gotcha.
there.
as a skier, I'm gonna help break this down. All right, so if I go over I-5 corridor, right? So if I go west and I go skiing, or I go to the East Coast and go skiing, there's
East is nothing but ice,
there's so much more moisture,
right?
and in the East you have wind. You know, you have it in the West, but the mountains are a little
Says
bit.
Magic Valley over here.
No, it's so
More than us.
More than us when you're on a coastal region. Believe it or not. I know that sounds crazy, but they have so much moisture in it. It's more icy than it is snow.
Much more.
That's why they're all angry.
Well, it's exactly what it is. Also, they love coming to the West to go skiing because the snow is so much better.
Powder's so fluffy.
We have better snow in this area because we have not as much moisture in our humidity. So it gets a better snow molecule for activity. And that's why our snowmobiling's better, or like our whitewater rafting is better. Like we have better outdoor stuff. And that's why you don't want to tell people about Idaho, because then they show up and then they move here.
Look what you just did.
I know. I just ruined it for everybody. Hey, you're welcome to visit. Do
all
not
the
stay.
East Coast listeners.
Yeah.
I think
Well, we got a couple of them.
Did you call us all angry?
You can reach Adam at.
Yeah, no,
but,
leave it to the comments.
Snow is my favorite. I love winter. I love snow. Like we make our entire living on warm weather. Don't get me wrong, but in order for us to make the living on warm weather, you need the cold to kill everything else.
Do the girls and Brandon share your affinity for the cold?
Yeah, sort of.
Or you've kind of drug them
they
along?
all ski. No, I drug them along.
Okay.
The kids love to ski. Brandon, there better be whiskey involved.
I knew I liked that guy.
Yeah, there's good reason. He'd rather
whiskey.
snowmobile. Also, as my father explained to him, I used to be a junior Olympic downhill ski racer, and my brother was pro. Like we are avid athletes in that area. And as my dad told my husband, the game is rigged. You're never going to beat her at this sport. And my husband is massively competitive. So
the fact that his wife is skiing circles around him, not helping him.
Pisses him off. It makes him so angry. And he gets really frustrated with himself, and he'll psych himself out on a mountain. And I like a really big, steep mountain because I grew up on them. And, he wants a mid-range mellow mountain. And I am like, oh my God, I'm bored.
Oh, and to be fair, your home hill is maybe one of the most
advanced
aggressive,
hills.
crazy ski hills I have ever seen in
and
my life.
I can get top to bottom in about 2 minutes.
Are you a ski guy at all?
Nah, I grew up with it. I can board and ski.
She grew up skiing in Sun Valley. I remember the first time going to Sun Valley. Peekaboo Street had just been in the Olympics. And I remember going, I know why she's so good, because she's skiing here every day. That hill is world goddamn class hill. I ski a lot of places in the West before I got there. It's
steep.
It's gigantic. It's steep.
It's steep. That's the hardest part. Is it's steep, and the snow there. It's called Sun Valley for a reason. So Targhee, their motto is "Snow from heaven, not from hoses," just to dig at Sun Valley. But I actually learned to ski at Grand Targhee. And then that became my home mountain when we were little race rugrats. We were little grommets on the hill. And okay, when I get to a ski hill and I see a whole bunch of ski team kids, oh God, my little heart sinks. And then I'm like, oh God, look at the path of destruction behind them, because they're just like a terror, because they're all hopped up on sugar and Red Bull, and they're like, and they're just going. I mean, I remember there always being a case of Red Bull right by the race, like our race pit at the top of the race course, and it was, how many Red Bulls can you chug before you go down the hill? Like, oh my God,
just
it was,
as my heart's exploding.
Yeah. Like, and I'm like 13 to 16 years old at this age. Like, no teenager should have that much caffeine, and it's got to be exactly the same, because Red Bull has the corner on all extreme sports.
Yes,
and so, yeah, I don't know. My homework to everybody, the listeners, is go try something you haven't done. So if you haven't done like a sleigh ride,
snowshoes,
if you haven't built a snowman, if you haven't snowshoed, snowshoed is way fun. So here's the bougie thing to do. Okay, this is the bougie cheap way to do it. I know that sounds a little counterproductive, but if you go to Costco right now, you're gonna find like snowshoes for $60 or $70. They will come with poles. They are weight rated, but they're more of like the running snowshoes. You don't have to run in them, but they're running if they're shorter, right? So if you were on a trail and you wanted to run, you could. Longer snowshoes are for breaking trail. I recommend you drive up to Galena. You own your own snowshoes, or you can rent. They're $17 to rent, or at least they used to be. Then it's $5 for a pass. For $23,
you have to pay someone for the thrill of walking around a snowy mountain.
They pack down on the trails. They did all the work for you. Hold on.
My snide
and they have a bar at the bottom with food.
Okay, take back here's my $5. Right,
and they have a trail badge.
I'm like, hold on, I have to pay you to walk on your stupid mountain.
You could also go to Sun Valley's golf course and pay $25, and then you still have to rent, and that's going to cost you a lot more. But I suggest go to Galena. It's absolutely magical. You're not going to have cell phone reception, but your camera still works.
There is infinite magic in a mountain full of snow.
It
is
yourself on a cold morning. Beautiful.
It's a magical spot.
It is.
Most of us have to pay a lift ticket to get to. So if you can find a way to get there yourself, it's a magical spot.
It is. And if you were one of my friends, yes, I will con you into going snowshoeing eventually. It happens to all of us.
Please invite me again this year.
Okay, deal. We'll do it. All right. With that, guys, go live your life in full color, because plane's pretty boring. Thanks for listening.